Chapter 5. What walks when the forest sleeps? The forest was darker than Evan remembered, even darker than the night itself, as if the trees had absorbed the moonlight to conceal whatever was hunting him. His breath steamed in the cold air as he ran, boots sinking into mud and brittle leaves. Behind him, branches snapped. Slow, deliberate footsteps crushed the earth in a steady rhythm. The thing wasn't rushing. It didn't need to. It knew he would tire long before it did. Evan stumbled against a fallen log and looked back. Nothing but blackness between the trees. Not empty, just hiding. The silence rang in his ears, thick and breathless, the same suffocating quiet the house had carried. He pressed his palm against his ribs and forced himself forward. But the forest didn't feel like a collection of trees anymore. It felt like a throat, closing around him. He passed a cluster of bark carvings, the same symbols from the house walls, spirals curling in on themselves as though trying to swallow a secret. He touched one without thinking. The wood quivered beneath his fingertips, warm, almost pulsing. He jerked back, and the forest whispered. A long, low moan of wind, or something imitating the wind, dragged through the branches. Leaves fluttered even though the trees were still. Evan's heart hammered violently. He turned in a slow circle, scanning the shadows for movement. Nothing. But the whisper came again. Evan! Not loud, not threatening, almost gentle. A child's voice. His blood went cold. He stumbled backward until his shoulders struck a tree. The bark felt soft, too soft, like old skin left in the sun. He pushed himself away. The forest whispered again, this time from his left. A giggle, a light patter of steps through leaves. A figure darted between the trees, low to the ground, quick, as if crawling on all fours. Evan froze. Another figure crawled behind it. Then another, limbs too long, heads cocked at unnatural angles. Their pale skin shined faintly, reflecting the moonlight like wet stone. Their black eyes blinked too slowly, as if remembering how eyelids should work. Evan's stomach twisted. They weren't children. Not anymore. He took a step back, and the earth gave way beneath him. His foot plunged through a soft patch of dirt, and he fell to his knees. When he looked down, he saw why. Bones. Countless bones beneath the leaves and soil. Small rib cages, splintered femurs. Teeth. A shallow graveyard spreading beneath the forest floor. Evan scrambled backward, but the ground cracked under him in brittle snaps. The pale creatures circled him at a distance, staying just out of the flashlight's reach. He could see only their silhouettes, twitchy, sharp, hungry. Then the forest shifted again. Every shadow leaned in his direction, every branch held still, listening. The air thickened as though something enormous had inhaled the entire forest into its lungs. And then, a deep, slow thud. Not footsteps, a heartbeat. The trees trembled. Evan felt it in his bones, a vibration pulling at his spine like a string. The pale creatures dropped to the ground in unison, crawling low, worshipping the sound. A second heartbeat answered the first, then a third. The forest pulsed around him, alive, ancient, aware. Evan forced himself up and ran. Roots clawed at his ankles like hands trying to pull him back. Thorny vines wrapped around his arms, tearing skin. He felt the forest trying to slow him, keep him, absorb him. He tore free with a cry and sprinted toward the slope ahead. When he reached the top, he gasped. Below him lay the abandoned main road of Rust Creek, if you could still call it a road. Cracked asphalt split like dried skin, fog draped over the ground like a blanket. Old telephone poles leaned sideways as if exhausted from standing for too many years. And far ahead, a faint light, warm, golden, flickering. A fire. Evan hesitated only a moment before forcing his legs to move again. He slid down the slope, boots skidding on dirt and loose stones. The light grew brighter as he approached, revealing a small clearing with a dying campfire at its center. Someone was there. A figure sat beside the fire, wrapped in a heavy coat, face hidden under the hood. They didn't react to Evan's approach, didn't flinch at his frantic breaths or the crack of branches behind him. Evan stopped a few feet away, panting. Hey, he managed. Please, I need help. Something's following me. The figure lifted a hand calmly, a gesture of silence. Then they spoke, their voice low and rough. I know. Evan blinked hard. You know. The hooded figure nodded slowly, turning toward him. The firelight revealed part of a face, lined, tired and scarred. Eyes that had seen too much. They follow everyone who steps into Rust Creek, the stranger murmured. But they only hunt those the forest chooses. Evan felt his mouth go dry. What are they? The stranger stirred the fire with a stick, sending sparks into the night. Not spirits, not beasts, not men. A long pause. They're what's left of those who tried to leave. Evan's chest tightened. Tried. The stranger looked at him fully now. No one leaves Rust Creek. Not once the forest has tasted their fear. Evan's heartbeat spiked. A crack echoed behind him, branches breaking under enormous weight. The stranger's eyes widened slightly. It's here. Evan turned slowly. There, at the tree line, stood the creature from the house, taller now, as if fed by the forest. Limbs stretched unnaturally, skin pale as bone. Its eyes were two ink-black holes, reflecting nothing but hunger. It stepped forward. The ground shuddered. Evan stumbled back toward the fire, but the stranger didn't move. Instead, they whispered, "You should never have entered that house. That's where it marks you." The creature raised its head, and every pale, childlike figure emerged behind it, crawling, twitching, whispering his name. Evan felt the world tilt. His mind screamed. His legs failed. And the forest closed in. The last thing he heard before darkness swallowed him was the stranger's broken whisper. "Rust Creek doesn't kill you, boy. It keeps you."